Yahoo! Welcome, my beautiful brothers and sisters, to the Aquarian Adepts, my platform to become your spiritual server. And today, in this video, we're actually going to be talking about the full moon in Libra that is occurring this Saturday, March 31st. And this is a very, very powerful full moon. The reason being is that since the sun has been in Aries, all of our egos have been going through this major transformation, right? This metamorphosis almost. Because while the sun was in Pisces and then while the full moon was here, we were illuminated to our reality, right? The full moon, whenever the moon is full and it's completely illuminated, it really shines a light on how things are at the current moment. So with the last full moon that we had in Virgo, which is interesting how we began the month with a full moon and then we end the month with a full moon. So the entirety of March was just super powerful, illuminating, and just really getting us into this groove and this motive of moving forward. So it's interesting how we have the month end on this full moon in Libra. And this is really important because when the sun was in Pisces, we went through this spiritual transformation. Whenever the sun enters into the sign, it kind of almost upgrades the sign. So when it hit Pisces, and especially it was making all these aspects to Neptune and Chiron, and we had a lot of that mutable energy. What happened is that our spirits had to go through this cleanse. It was like a roller coaster ride. I don't know about you, but definitely for me, it was like I was up, I was down, I was up, I was down, I was up, I was down. And that's just kind of how it was. So when the sun shifted into Aries, and then we had all these energies shift into Aries and Capricorn, we got a lot of cardinal energy, which is all about moving forward, getting things done, taking it step by step, being responsible, right? It was just, we're moving from that state where we were just observing. Where really life was just like a movie, and it was like not trying to do too much, but just kind of feel things through. Now we come into March, almost here at the end of March, and it's like now we're just like taking the actions and taking the steps to move things forward. Of course, now we have, Mercury retrograde, so we're like rethinking our behavior. We're rethinking the actions that we need to take, and we're rethinking the ego. We're rethinking how our own ego was and how we reacted to things in the past, therefore manifesting our current reality. The full moon in Virgo showed us that. So with this full moon in Libra, what's happening is that we're going to be illuminated to our inner peace, our inner harmony, or the inner peace and harmony that we want to achieve, the inner peace and harmony that we want to reestablish, right? It starts within ourselves, but of course it's going to obviously highlight relationships huge. Especially since you have to consider that Venus is going to be conjuncting Uranus this week as well on Wednesday. So relationships are really at the focal point of this full moon. And we're realizing that, okay, we have to adjust the way that we are. We have to adjust our behavior and upgrade our ego so it aligns with our new spiritual vision that we received while the sun was in Pisces. And so now we really are kind of taking our baby steps and really kind of getting back to the basics and relearning how to act, how to behave, and how to really express ourselves in this deep, authentic way that really allows us to propel forward, that really pushes us forward, and does so from a space where we really can be of service to others, where we really can establish that peace and harmony with others. But in order for us to get there, we have to really find it within ourselves. And that's really what this full moon is talking about. It's, I believe it's going to be at about 10 degrees. So this is a degree of manifestation. It's also bringing about a completion. So it's interesting how, 10 is like the completion of a cycle from 1 to 10. And it's interesting how we have the full moon, which actually is a completion point. It brings things to a culmination. And then it's like there are certain things that have to be released during this time so we can move forward. Just very interesting how we just begin the month with the full moon and then we end the month with the full moon. So this Saturday, you definitely want to be keyed in on how to establish the inner peace and harmony with yourself, and how to establish it with other people. Certain relationships might be strained over, the course of, I would say, maybe like, Wednesday a bit into Saturday, but not strained from a bad sense, but almost sort of like, since we are changing on a deep, profound level. Of course, we have to, consider that Uranus has been in Aries this whole time, so it's been revolutionizing our ego and revolutionizing our persona this entire time, but it's on a quantum level. It's on a level that's not readily apparent to us. So we're going to sense, each and every one of us on a deep level is going to sense that, oh, okay, I really am changing, and I really want to express this new me. I want to express this version of me that is more in line with my higher self, that's going to be more in line with the abundance and the prosperity that I want to bring into my life. But in order to do that, we have to first seek within ourselves. So on Saturday, what you're going to see kind of coming to a head is the dynamic of these relationships and how old dynamics need to fall away so new dynamics can be born. So the relationships that you have in your life, whether it's with friends, whether it's family, whether it's romantic or business, these relationships are going to change, but what we're going to be illuminated with, and then the energies of the full moon really lasts for about 6 months until you hit the new moon in this spot. But it's like until the next full moon that occurs, which is going to be in Scorpio, we're really going to be working on the new dynamic of these relationships with ourselves and then with other people. So what I'm going to do actually is show you 24 hours before the full moon and then 24 hours after, and really kind of key you in on some of the surrounding transits that make this full moon very, very powerful and very, very interesting. I think, there's one particular transit that I really want to talk about, and I actually mentioned it in my weekly astrology video, but I'm going to touch on it a little bit more here because I really do find it to be quite powerful and amazing. So I'm actually going to show you the chart here, and this is cool because I like being able to show you guys things in real time. So this is what we have going on. March 31st, this is 8:40 Eastern time, and we can see that right now the moon is dead opposed the sun in Aries. So we have a couple other things coming up. We have the sun, which is coming into its conjunction with Mercury retrograde. So that's going to be opposed in this spot. We also have the moon coming off the squares to Mars and Saturn, which are getting closer and closer and closer to each other. We also have, of course, the sun also coming off the square to Mars and Saturn. So really what we're seeing is that we have different projects and different things that we want to move forward. We have this mountain to climb. How can we harmonize? And this is a strained aspect. It's a square, so it's not the easiest. But at the same time, the sun is exalted in Aries, and Mars is exalted in Capricorn. So it's kind of interesting how it's a strained aspect, but it's almost like this very interesting compromise where we have to figure out, okay, so we are shifting and we're manifesting a new ego, we're manifesting a new behavior and a new way of being, right? We're learning how to think differently as well. And how can we establish the harmony with our relationships, with ourselves? How can we harmonize these energies? And are these energies going along the same path? Because that's really what this is asking. It's asking us, all right, so we have shifted in many ways our ego. We're going through this ego metamorphosis. This is how I feel about my relationships. This is how we feel about our relationships with certain people. Are these going to be aligned? Are these going to sync up? Are they going on the same path? Are they on the same mountain? Are they going in the same direction? That's really what we're going to be asking here on Saturday. And what you'll discover is that some of your relationships, you can compromise and you can make it through, you can push through. And really with this conjunction here, it's even asking us further. It's it might take some hard work and it might take some steps. But at the same time, you're going to get this amazing confirmation that you can work this thing out and that you can really move forward with these relationships. Some of them, not all of them, are going to per se survive this, but at the same time, what you're going to find is that there's going to be more peace and harmony within yourself. This is at the same time that Venus has moved into Taurus, so we're already beginning to manifest and beginning to receive these manifestations. Also, you can see here is that we have the sun beginning to trine the North Node. So we're really being asked to come into our heart space, because as you can see, the moon will trine the North Node as well at the same time later on in the day. So we're really being asked to come into our heart. We're really being asked to find out really how can we express ourselves creatively? How can we utilize our new ego that we are molding right now while the sun is in Aries, and how can we aim towards our destiny? How can we aim towards that life of abundance and prosperity and bliss? And how can we establish the relationships that are on that same track? How can we, even if we have current relationships that might be strained, how can we balance these relationships? How can we find harmony in these relationships? That's really what's being asked. Now, I want to show you the day before this interesting aspect that we're going to have between the moon and Chiron. And I'm going to move this forward just, hour by hour until it comes on pretty much dead conjunct. So, all right, so it's going to occur around noonish on noonish Eastern time. On Friday, we have this opposition between the moon and Chiron. This is huge. The reason why I say this is huge is because this is going to be the last time, outside of the fact that Chiron will retrograde later this year. So it'll happen again later this year. But this will be the last time that the moon makes this opposition to Pisces while Chiron is in Pisces. Because Chiron will move into Aries later on. This is massive because for the great majority of us, we have not seen Chiron at this degree of Pisces. We have not seen it this high. Chiron is the wounded healer, so it represents that area of our chart where we have deep wounds and trauma. But at the same time, I liken it to a superpower. I liken it to a portal to where if we decide to heal the spot and we decide to open the door, because notice it's a key. So if we decide to open this door and we step into our power and we step into our superpower, we really can heal greatly and move forward. With it being in Pisces, what we're healing on a deep collective level too is our connection to spirit and the way that we, the way that we speak with the infinite, the way that we tap into the infinite. This is massive because the moon making this opposition is going to be like this last time because it's becoming illuminated, it's becoming full. It's almost like saying, it's like this last chance is like, okay, you have this opportunity to heal. I know it might not feel the most comfortable. I know it might not feel the easiest. I know that reality right now might not look like the way that you want to, but this is the reality of how things are. But you have this great opportunity to heal. Like I said, most of us have not seen Pisces this high before. The last time Chiron was in Pisces was during the 60s. It entered around I want to say 62, and then it went into Aries in the late 60s, and then retrograded back into Pisces, and then came back into Aries. So for the great majority of us, we have not seen Chiron this high. We have not seen Chiron at this level. The fact that it's about to slip into Aries means that we are really unlocking this new ego. We are really unlocking these new behaviors. And it's like there's an aspect of us that's really being healed. This ability to connect with spirit is being healed. We also have to consider what happened the last time Chiron was in this spot. They were talking about the 60s. So you have drugs. You had the hippie movement. You had people taking LSD and smoking weed and doing all these different ways to connect with the divine. People really used drugs and the sexual revolution and these other this hippie revolution as a means to connect to source, as a means to connect with spirits. That's what happened the last time Chiron was in this spot, and the moon is going to be opposing this spot. So right now what we're experiencing is really, you have this new age movement, and really what I liken this to is actually the death of the guru. I see this actually as this kind of almost kickoff of the age of Aquarius, although I believe the age of Aquarius, we're already in it. But what I see this as is really, you do not have to outsource your connection to spirit. You have it within you to connect with spirit, to connect with God, the universe, whatever it is that you want to call it. You have it within you. So we are going to, the great thing about this full moon is that at the same time, we are establishing harmony within ourselves. We are establishing harmony with the universe, and we are learning how to reconnect to the spirit, to God. It's incredible. This is going to be the last time the moon does this. And as I move this forward some time, right, it's going to make those oppositions. And then we go, so this is the full moon right here, right? Excuse me. Now I'm going to take this a day forward. This is April Fool's. This is Easter. So now what happens? The sun is going to be coming closer to Mercury. We have the conjunction beginning to start here. It doesn't technically dead conjunct until Monday, but we have it pretty much right here, 8 degrees. So now we're really being asked, how do we move forward? How do we pick ourselves up and climb this mountain? What actions do we need to take to really push our way through and get things done? And our relationship's going to be harmonized with that. We're going to have the moon, which is going to square Pluto at this time. It's going to square Pluto earlier in the day. And it's also going to be making this opposition to Uranus Aries. So as you can see, what we really have here is this, we're having like this ego check, but this ego transformation simultaneously, and really being asked is like, okay, yes, you have these projects you want to do. Yes, you have these actions that you want to take. Yes, you have these beautiful visions that you want to undertake, but you kind of have to go step by step, day by day. You have to consider this almost revolutionary way of moving forward, of taking these steps. You have to consider this. And you also have to consider that your actions are going to affect other people. We have to realize that our actions do affect other people. Venus is moving into Taurus. It's at 1 degree here. So it's really kicking off this manifestation period. The entirety of April is going to be action-packed. I want to say that April is like action-packed April, because it's really like, there's just so much stuff happening in April. And like, we have 2 planets that are going to go retrograde. Mercury's going to come back direct. And we have just a bunch of interesting shifts. But we're being asked, how does our new way of being, our new self, because when the sun is in Aries, we're like called back into finding out who we are. So it's like, it's not really a time to be worried about everyone else, but at the same time, the moon opposing the spot, we are going to ask, it's like, okay, how we do have to somewhat consider, and that's why the full moon is here, that our actions do affect other people. And like I said earlier with that aspect of Chiron, that's going to be the last time that happens. So if you move this thing forward, if you just move the moon forward, it's going to eventually come over Jupiter, right? And then here it goes into Sagittarius. Now we have this stellium on April 7th. We have this stellium in Capricorn. We have the moon conjunct Saturn. And those energies are going to be trining Venus in Taurus. This is huge. This is another activation point. We also have a sextile between Pluto and Jupiter, retrograde. So we're really being asked to really like, yes, there's great fortune to be had. There's great ways to expand, but we do have to dig deep. We do have to go to places that we thought were dark, and we do have to pull ourselves up and just really feel confident and emotionally secure that we actually can move this thing forward. It's incredible, really, honestly. And then just, like I say, if you go day by day, the moon will come over Pluto, and then it enters into Aquarius, and then the moon enters into Pisces here. And then we have here, so on April 13th, the moon is going to come over Chiron, right? It's going to shift into Aries. And this is really going to be a point where we're going to really, this is the part where, it's coming off, it's going to be coming to the new moon. So we're going to learn how to, there's going to be a seed that's planted very, very soon. Very, very soon a seed will be planted here. The moon on April 15th looks like it's going to be the day of the new moon. April 15th, the moon will come on top of the sun and we'll have the new moon. So that's when a seed is going to be planted. And then you have Mars, which is barreling towards Pluto. And then bam, look what happens. It's not going to be much longer until, you see that right there, April 17th. Chiron enters into Aries. The moon is going to conjunct Venus later that day. And this is really this activation point where we are opening the door and we are going to get these new superpowers. We're going to be healing our egos. This is when the healing of our egos begin. We're going to receive these downloads and making these behaviors, making these changes, doing things to move things forward. Mercury is going to be back online at this point. It's going to be moving forward. The sun is coming into its conjunction with Uranus. That's going to be powerful. But now we really see that we are going to start healing ourselves. We're going to start healing our ego. We're going to start healing our behavior. And of course, these energies are going to be making the aspects, the squares eventually to Capricorn. But, Chiron will go retrograde later, as will Uranus, because Uranus will eventually come into Taurus, and then it'll go retrograde later. But I just wanted to show you kind of the before and after, like snapshot, to just show you that we are evolving spiritually, and we are opening the door to a new day, a new reality, a new world. But we have to heal ourselves. We have to find the peace and harmony within ourselves. And then we have to, that's how we gain peace and harmony in the world. We have to find it within ourselves. A lot of times we like to push and strain and strive to try and find it in the outside world. But first, my beautiful brothers and sisters, it comes from within. So just remember that you have what it takes, absolutely, to climb this mountain. You have what it takes. You can reform the way that you act and reform the way that you behave and establish that's in line with this deeper spiritual connection that you have developed. And you absolutely can manifest this. It's very, very beautiful. And, relationships are going to be the focal point of this. Really figuring out how to harmonize our relationships. How to harmonize our relationships. And guys, that is really what's going on with this full moon. It's going to be a very powerful one. It's going to be very, very dynamic, and it's quite frankly just going to be pretty incredible. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw cards for each of the signs. I'm using my Gilded Tarot deck for this reading. And, cards just kind of flopping all over the place. Know that you are able, know that you are beautiful, know that you are creative, divine, and energetic. This is a week, honestly, I think this is going to be a very positive week. There are some strained aspects this week, but honestly, I think it's a very positive week. And I think that this full moon is going to be very positive as well, because even if certain dynamics of relationships are going to be ending and it's not going to be the most comfortable, I think at the same time, we all are going to be feeling much better about our relationships and about ourselves, because even if we get a glimpse into our inner peace and our inner harmony, the fact that we got that glimpse means that we really can bring that more up to the forefront, and it can come more into fruition. All right. So So we're going to go ahead and start with our overall card for this. This is interesting. I actually got the Tower reversed. This is our old ego fading away, and this is our new ego taking the stage. These are the old dynamics of our relationships falling away, and the new dynamics of our relationships coming to the forefront. That's what this is. And the other card that I had was actually the Five of Cups, which was the card I put under before. So we might be feeling, it might not be the easiest, because part of us probably wants to hold on a bit, but we have to kind of just release and let go. This is a full moon, so we just have to let go and let go of the heaviness. I'd also like to liken this to the Chiron aspect that's happening before. It's like, yes, this is reality, but you manifest your reality. You attract your reality. You create your reality. So why not create a reality that is beautiful and harmonious and peaceful and blissful, okay? All right, so Aries. Aries, we actually have the Wheel of Fortune. This is amazing because this means that change is really coming, and you are going to establish more so than anyone, especially since we have, these energies in Aries, and this is really bringing your energy to the forefront, especially since Mars is also involved here, which naturally rules you. You're going to really receive this download and know how to move things forward. You're really going to find that peace and harmony within yourself and really love yourself this week, Aries, and your relationships will change greatly. The dynamic of it will change greatly because you're going to really hold yourself in that high regard, because Aries, on a deep level, that the only way that you're going to attract that peaceful, harmonious life is if you take care of yourself first. And Aries typically do that anyways, so you're not really going to have any issues with it. That's why you got the Wheel of Fortune card. All right, Taurus. Taurus, we have the Five of Wands, otherwise kind of known as the petty argument card. So Taurus, you might get caught up in some pettiness with this full moon. You might get caught up in some small arguments. You might turn small little hills into giant mountains. And Taurus, really what I'm seeing here is that you need to have some patience. Venus is moving into your sign, so now we're going to kind of get that beautiful energy that Venus likes to bring. And when it comes into Taurus, you're really going to begin to manifest your self-esteem. You're going to really begin to manifest that value. And other people might not understand it and see what you see, but on a deep level, you're going to be shifting into a space where you value yourself more. And while other people might not understand it, don't get caught up into the arguments, because this is everyone's old ego firing and refusing to die when it's going to. It has to be shifted, it has to be reformed. So Taurus, just be wary of that and you will be okay. All right. Gemini. Gemini, we have the Knight of Wands in reverse. So Gemini, you're going to want to rush into action. You're going to want to rush into decisions and temper yourself, because the Knight of Wands in reverse, it's already a very rash card, but with it being reverse means that you may rush to conclusions. I would caution you against taking very impulsive actions, Gemini. I would caution you against uprooting any type of relationships that you have unless you absolutely know you need to, but you might want to hold off and just wait a little bit, because maybe there is peace and harmony there and you might not be able to see it, but if you rush into it too quickly, you might run by something that is actually really amazing for you. Cancer. Cancer, we have the World card. This is incredible. Cancer, you are going to be feeling on top of the world. It's going to be great because, the moon was just, in your sign, and it made all of those oppositions to the energies in Capricorn. So, Cancer, you're going to be feeling more on top of the world. You're going to be feeling more secure. You're going to be feeling like you actually can move forward, that you actually do have the emotional foundation to move forward. And Cancer, by taking care of yourself more this week, and really, because you do care about other people, you're very empathic, you're very psychic, Cancer, right? But if you take the time this week to really nurture yourself and care for yourself, the entire world is just going to open up, and it's going to be a very beautiful thing. Your relationships are going to morph, are going to change, and you're really going to begin to see the beauty in the world. Again. Leo, we have the Justice card reversed. So this is going to be interesting. It's interesting because, the Justice card, this card rules Libra, right? So you might feel a bit of an injustice this week. You might feel a bit of an injustice within your relationships. And I think for you, I don't think it's necessarily that these people have done anything terribly or wrong to you. I kind of almost see it as you have been doing your best to try and just be authentic, and you are authentic. You live for love, you live for love's sake alone. And it's while the sun is in Aries and we have this fire energy, which you really enjoy, you're really reforming your behaviors and stuff, and you really are coming into this space where you have to really take care of yourself. So people this week are not going to get it because you're just going to want to just radiate love, and you're going to feel an injustice because the people in your relationships aren't doing the same thing. And you just want to radiate love and just show them hey, let's just harmonize, let's just be okay, and things don't have to be as bad as we think. It cut off there a little bit, so I apologize. All right, so Libra, interesting. We actually have the Six of Swords in reverse. You may be tempted to leave behind situations, to leave behind people, and there is going to be a release. I see this as a release of these fears and doubts that you've had about these relationships. What you're releasing is this doubt that you can have inner peace, or that you can't have inner peace and harmony, because you absolutely can. You are the sign of it. So Libra, what's going to happen with you in this full moon is that you're going to realize that, okay, maybe I don't have to leave these relationships. Maybe I just have to leave these self-limiting beliefs that these relationships can't be harmonized, that they can't be balanced. That's really what's happening here, Libra, for you. Scorpio, we have the Magician. Ooh, wow, we got the Magician card. Scorpio, you are going to manifest something incredible. Now, this might take some time, so have some patience. I would say definitely by the time that the sun hits Libra, you're really going to see how you manifested this inner peace and harmony, and how at this point you're going to attract the relationships in your life that are really going to help propel you forward, and these people are going to be in line with your vision. Scorpio, you're going to be super magical with this full moon. It is in your 12th house, so it does have a lot to do with kind of like this, 12th house aspects and stuff like that, as far as the unforeseen stuff. But magic is really working in your favor. Things are rearranging themselves, so you can really manifest that beautiful, amazing, abundant life that you know is possible. Scorpio, you will get it. And sometimes you might have a tendency to try and put too much force on it. You don't have to try too hard this week. Really, Scorpio, just show up. This Saturday with the full moon, just show up and just radiate love, and you will create so much magic. It will be astounding. And in 6 months, you will look back and be like, whoa, what the heck just happened? A beautiful blessing. All right. Sagittarius, we have the Ten of Wands in reverse. This is you releasing an old load. This is you releasing old self-limiting beliefs that has robbed you of your hope and joy. Sagittarius, you just want a party. You just believe in hope and joy, but you've just been like, Jupiter is in my 12th house. It's unlocking all of these things and some of these fears, but can I really be hopeful? Can I really find that inner peace? Can I really find that harmony? Of course, this is also going to be in your 11th house, this full moon. So it's really keying you in on your service to the world, how you relate to the world and the masses, and you've been carrying all of this struggle and stuff like that. really what you want to do is you really want to take care of yourself this week, Sagittarius, and release this load, release these old burdens. You don't have to carry around these old limiting beliefs. You don't have to carry around old projects that don't serve you anymore. You can release them so you can allow the newness into your life, Sagittarius. Your hope is going to be reinvigorated and you're going to smile again, Sagittarius. Capricorn. Capricorn, we actually have the Ace of Swords in reverse. So this is interesting because the Ace of Swords in reverse isn't per se bad. It can kind of key you in on, okay, you do have to alter the way that you present yourself. You do have to alter the way that you speak to others and the way that you speak to yourself. Because Capricorn, you're pretty logical, you're pretty straightforward, and you're stern, and you have Saturn, Mars, and Pluto here. So you might have a tendency to kind of have like this negative self-talk or be hard on yourself. So don't be as hard on yourself. Be a little bit softer with yourself. Kind of tap into that opposite sign of you, Cancer. Try and tap into that. Be a little bit softer with yourself and smoother with yourself. Try and find that inner peace, that inner harmony, because once you do that, you'll actually develop a very powerful voice, and people are going to notice it. People are going to see that you are really coming alive and coming into your own, Capricorn. But it starts by establishing a better self-talk. That's where it starts off with. Aquarius. Aquarius, we actually have the Four of Swords in reverse. Aquarius, this is about you getting up and moving forward. When the Four of Swords is, upright, it means that it's time for rest. It's time to kind of just take some moment to kind of dream a bit and just, it makes you a little bit lethargic. With the Four of Swords reverse, it's really saying, all right, Aquarius, it's time to get up. I understand that you have all these planets in your 12th house, and it's not easy having these planets in the 12th house. Having the malefics in your 12th house, it probably is making you really trying to figure out what are you supposed to do in your life, and it's probably made life very sublime and out there and alien, which is odd because you are the alien. But Aquarius, what this full moon is going to be asking us, since it is in Libra, so it's in another air sign, it's really going to be asking you to okay, you have to really address the way that you talk to yourself as well. It's kind of similar to Capricorn, but you have to realize is you actually do have a lot of great things to bring to the table. All right. And once you establish this peace and harmony within yourself, you'll find that you don't have to just always check yourself out. You don't always have to just all right, I'm going to just dip. You know how Aquarius will just dip and just not tell you anything? That's kind of what this is talking about. It's you'll find out that you actually can have those relationships where you don't feel like you just have to disappear. Aquarius, this is really asking you to kind of stand up, to wake up, to move forward, and to, once you find the inner peace and harmony within yourself and accept yourself for the weirdo that you are, you will find other weirdos out there that really vibe with you, and you will be able to move forward with those individuals. And Pisces, for you, we have the Queen of Swords in reverse. This is quite interesting. This could be actually a person. This could be an Aquarius, could be a Gemini, or a Libra. But really, the Queen of Swords reverse here is saying that, we had these energies in Pisces, and we're learning to reestablish our connection to spirit, and you are definitely trying to figure that out too. What this is saying is that you need to reform the way that you speak to the divine feminine within you, because you might have been a little harsh to the divine feminine within you, to that divine feminine energy. We have all these energies in masculine signs right now. It's kind of interesting, but this full moon is really going to bring to a head the way that you communicate and nurture yourself, how you nurture that receptive energy. How do you receive your messages from spirit? How do you work with that? How is it aligned with your new ego that you are developing? You have to kind of look at things in a just a different, like, tweaked way, because the Queen of Swords isn't necessarily going to understand emotions. It's just going to kind of just want to get things done, and it's going to say what's on its mind, but you want to kind of soften that so you can find peace and harmony within yourself. But then once you bring this card, upright, you will actually be able to establish this very powerful voice, and people are going to listen to you, Pisces. People are going to stop and listen to what you have to say, because you're really going to show people the spiritual evolution, the implications of that spiritual evolution, and you're going to be able to just speak your truth more and really hit people on a deep, profound level. So that is your full moon reading in Libra for March 31st of 2018. I hope you all enjoyed it. Like I said, relationships are the focal point of this full moon. Learning how to reestablish the inner peace and harmony within ourselves, so we may reestablish the peace and harmony with the outside world, with other people, with the relationships with other people, family, friends, romantic, business. That's really what this is about. It's a beautiful moment. It's a culmination point where we're releasing our old beliefs about how these things should go and how these things should look, and releasing the old behaviors that we've had. So the dynamics of these relationships are changing majorly on Saturday. I hope you're ready. And of course, my beautiful brothers and sisters, to keep moving forward, to stay focused, and Yahoo! Smile often.
Please try to understand that I'm only human. I may make mistakes at times, but I'm only human. I may hurt people, but still I'm only human. I may get depressed at times, but I'm only human. I refuse to believe that I'm just only human. I'm a product of God, you know I'm more than human. I can overcome anything cause I'm more than human. My objective is changing lives cause I'm more than human. I'm more than human.